Every economic era has provided a shift on how we do business. This is true for the global economy, from the agricultural to the industrial revolution, all the way down to the digital age that we're in now. And this is also true from the music economy, from labels to YouTube and SoundClick to blogs to the music distribution era. And now we are on the cusp of the music distribution era finally ending. What does that mean for you? Let's talk about it. Chill Squad, what it do? Welcome back to the channel. If you're not part of the Chill Squad, my name is Avidan Smith, and I help music producers make better music and better music decisions. So if you're not part of the Chill Squad, what are you doing? So in order to qualify the question, are music distributors becoming obsolete in 2024? I had to provide some proof. So let's start with the early 90s to about the mid 2000s. You had labels. Labels ran everything. Labels were a way for you to get into the door, your connections, everything. They were your bread and butter. And sometimes signing certain contracts could really make or break an artist. And some artists are done today and had their careers ended early because of bad label deals, right? So that's the first part. Now, going from 2005 and 6 to about 2015 and 2016, you had what I called the beginning of the do-it-yourself era. And what I mean by this is you had YouTube, SoundClick, and SoundCloud at this time. And when you got to the 2010s, you had blogs. So YouTube, you had your Soulja Boys and your Waka Flockas. SoundClicks gave you your Johnny Julianos. And then when you got to the 2010s, you got the blogs, which shout out to Not Quite Millionaire, shout out to Two Words to the Top, D. Omen, John Book, and Hip Hop DX. Shout out to all of them and many more of the blogs during the time. But you had what we call the blog and the mixtape era. And mixtape sites like DatPiff or AudioMac had presented opportunities for people like Kendrick Lamar, people like J. Cole, to develop an even stronger following to build them up to where they are right now. So we get to about 2015 to 2016, around the time Tidal released, and this is where music distribution companies really started to take into effect. And this has been going on since then up until now. Now, what's the common denominator with everything that I said? Every era started to end eventually. Right now in 2024, labels do not have any power over producers or artists for them to get on and for them to make connections. And now as we're closing 2024, we're starting to see an emergence of AI coming out in a way where it's giving music producers and artists a way to do more tasks themselves. And I'm not talking like Udio. I'm not talking about just making music with AI. I'm talking about they are able to set up businesses for their music producer or their music company in general in order to treat themselves more like a full-on brand. They can talk to websites like ChatGPT or any AI website to really develop marketing plans for themselves, and things that you would need to pay other people thousands of dollars for, they can pay practically pennies for it now. Where are we going with this? The more that there are people who are able to do it themselves and not have to rely on a distribution company and just get paid pennies for their views, this is going to take money away from the distribution companies, and they're either going to have to A, adapt, or B, sink and drown. And I would be remiss to not shout out my brother Curtis King for being one of the pioneers of the direct-to-consumer models right now. He and so many other people have created more conversation around this topic of direct-to-consumer that it can't be ignored anymore. Music producers and artists alike know they're worth more than ever now. And it's great to see, because now nobody could be signed off to a wrong deal. Could people make some bad business practices in the long run? Absolutely. So this brings another question. Does this mean music distributors are dead? Not exactly. But if they don't adapt, they are. If they don't adapt, they will become like MySpace and fade out and become irrelevant. Because the fact of the matter is they need to provide more value. People are leaving DistroKid. People are leaving CD Baby. People are leaving all of these companies, TuneCore. People are leaving all these companies because they cannot get the best deals for their music. They're getting paid pennies from Spotify and all these other companies. And honestly, if you spent, let's just say, hours upon hours creating a project and it only gets views that leads up to cents or a couple of dollars, that could be soul crushing to up and coming artists. So now that people don't have to rely on these platforms, it is refreshing. And if they don't adapt and provide more value for artists and producers, then yes, they will become obsolete. The big question becomes, what do I do as a music producer or as a music artist who is on a music distribution company? And if I'm doing well, what do I do? And even if I'm not doing well, what do I do now? The answer is you start to become more and more in tune with your audience. Use your Twitter. Use whatever website you have, use your YouTube channel to start connecting with your audience in a way that you never had before. Use your Instagram, start connecting to your audience like you never had before. Stop relying on these companies to just give you a bag for uploading music and start to connect to your audience in a way that only you can provide value to them. Become irreplaceable in their eyes, because if you're just somebody who could play in shuffle on a playlist, you're going to be easily forgotten. It doesn't matter how many songs your song gets played in an editorial playlist, not playlist. Although playlist can still apply somehow. Could it? Let's move on. I'm gonna leave that in. But yes, I would definitely say build an email list, start creating different online shows, online gigs where you could hold a show in your home. Like I said, my boy Curtis did it. My father, he even did it before. So there are people that are doing this and they are benefiting from live shows online and getting paid for it. They are getting paid to make a show from the comfort of their own home. And it's a level of value. It's an intimate value between you and your audience. You can provide that. Provide behind the scenes in the studio. Show them the creation process of a song. People who are on Patreon, they get to see the live stream of you working on the song and the songs in the studio. There's so many different things that you can do to connect to your audience in a way that only you can. But this will only happen if you're willing to step outside of your comfort zone and do some new things that you never did before. I usually talk to you about how to make better beats in Maschine. If you want to check out those videos right here. But I talked a little bit more today because I've been making beats since 2004. So that's about 20 years this month, actually. And I have lived through all of those eras I spoke to you about. I lived through the label eras where you need a label to get on. I lived through the SoundClick, the YouTube, the blog eras, and I lived through the music distribution eras. I experienced everything but the labels, but all the others, YouTube, SoundClick, blogs, even the music distribution, I went through all of it. And I'm in the process now of doing my own direct-to-consumer model. So I'm not just telling you this out of theory. I'm telling you this because I experienced it. I'll catch you on the next one.